Yeah. What schools and programs are you admitted to?
So I was admitted early action to Stanford University, and then in regular decision, Harvard, MIT, Princeton, UPenn, and UT. And then for UT it was like Plan 2 and Business Honors.
Very cool. What's your intended major?
So at Stanford, they don't have to declare majors until junior year, so that's one of the reasons I applied to like a lot of those schools, is they give you the opportunity to explore. And so for me, I know like a general area I want to go into. Like I like business, I like technology, I also like math, but also I'm very interested in humanities and philosophy and stuff like that. So that's kind of an opportunity for me to explore, and then I'll figure that out as I get into university. So I didn't declare, I put economics because a lot of the activities I've been involved in are business related when I applied, but like for actual major, I don't really have a declared major yet. Yeah.
Okay. What do you think made your application so successful in gaining admission to these top colleges?
So I'd say that if I had to pick one thing, it would not necessarily be like the things I did in high school, because I know a lot of people that do more impressive things than I do, and like and I also don't think it's like necessarily grades. I think the most important thing in college application, just for any person in general, and what makes anyone stand out, is the essays and their voice and their personality. So like a lot of times people are very successful and they're great people, but if you don't show that on the application, then you can't get into those good schools, because like everyone is special and everyone's unique, but how can you present yourself as special and unique? So that I think that my essays, I try to not overthink them. Like I try not to like include things that, oh, like this is like something I need to include because that's what the admissions officer want to see. Is like, what do I want to show them, right? And so it's more about me, not about how do I impress the college. So it's how do I express myself.
Yeah. So what did you end up writing your essays about? What was like the uniqueness that you
Yeah,
wanted to
so
show?
like for example, like one of those things is like the Common App essay, right? And I like a lot of the Common App essays are very serious, and like what is like one big failure in your life? Well, first, like to be completely honest, I haven't like experienced like a tragic like event in my life, so like I don't want to make something up or be like super sappy or something. So I wrote about something I care about personally, even though it's not something that's super impressive. But I play pickup basketball every Friday, so I go out and play basketball with my friends, and so I wrote about that. And so I was very honest, I think, and I didn't try to like make myself sound like a superhuman, like or anything like that. So I think that's what helps, is like just getting your genuine self across. And so that's something I try to do.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Did you have stuff that you tried to highlight, like, or do you have a strategy overall on how you did your application?
So one thing I did was I tried to make sure that every essay said something new, but in the same voice. Like you don't want to have like a very serious essay and like all of a sudden be like very funny, because like you want to show that you're like one person, right? And that should be easy if you're just being honest, because you have one personality, that's who you are. But so I try to like use the same voice and the same type of writing in all my essays, which was easy because I was just writing like as I would speak to someone probably. But every essay I try to highlight something new. So like my Common App essay was just like, this is who I am as a person, like this is what I'm like when I'm hanging out with my friends. And then there's more like, this is who I am intellectually, this is who I am in terms of business, this is some of the challenges I've faced. So like every essay, you should be like saying the general same thing, but you shouldn't be repeating yourself over and over again. You don't want to tell someone that you're curious in 5 different essays. That's one essay is enough for that. But like using the same voice, that's important. You want some consistency.
Yeah, definitely. Did you think of yourself as having sort of like an overall message, like in terms of the application, like you talked about having different essays and different things, but in terms of the application as a whole, was there a version of yourself that you were trying to push, or a narrative, or like?
I don't necessarily think there was a narrative. Like I don't think that every person can just be reduced to like a single sentence. So I think what I was trying to convey was that I'm a complex person, like any person should be. So I don't think like, I wasn't just like, hey, I'm Jason, like I'm a high school student, I like entrepreneurship. I was more like, this is who I am as a person, this is what I think is funny, this is what I like to do in my free time. So it's like, I don't think that people should reduce their application to like, I don't think you should be able to summarize someone's application in like 3 words. Like I think I've heard that advice before, but I don't think that's something that you should strive to do.
Yeah. What programs did you end up doing at Berkeley 2 Academy, and how did they help?
So I did the Gateway program. So that was just like pretty much the whole college application process. And so the main thing I liked about that was that it was like there's this dichotomy where you understood, you had this counselor that you knew really well, and that Susanna was my counselor, and she knew me really well, so she knew like my voice, what I like to do, and so she would tell me things like, Jason, that's not you, or this is you, and you need to put more of it. So like she understood who I was as a person. So it was good to have that one perspective, like that knew you very well, but at the same time on the other side you had like people reviewing your essays and like people doing final reviews. So like you had very successful writers, like overviewing your essay for grammar and stuff like that, but at the same time you had someone else who knew you very well who was able to focus in on the details and on the voice and on the little things that make a big difference.
Yeah. Would you recommend the Gateway program to other people?
Yeah, in fact, like someone just texted me like 20 minutes ago, so yes, I would.
Great. Do you think, I mean, this is sort of a weird question, but did you find the process enjoyable or fun in any way?
I found it simultaneously like stressful but also enlightening because I don't write about myself a lot, and I like at the beginning of the year when there's teachers like every year like make you write about yourself, I never really know what to write. So those like 2 months in the summer where we were talking about essays were like 2 months where I kind of thought a lot about who I am. So it's like I think it was very helpful because now I feel like I'm a lot more introspective. So like I think it was like good to get awareness of myself, and also because like a lot of the essays you write in school are like academic essays. You never really are encouraged to put your voice in it. So like it's good to have writing that has humor and has your personality in it, and that's something I learned from that process.
Cool. Do you have any advice or tips for other students who are applying to college this year or in the future?
Yeah, so I would say applying to college, don't overthink it. Like a lot of people they think that you need to do a certain thing or be a certain type of person, and I think that in itself is what is most toxic about the college application process, in that people think that you have to do something or fit into a certain mold in order to get into college, when that's the exact opposite of what they're looking for. You do not need to. I mean, I know a friend who got into Harvard. He's not in the top 10%. He barely did any clubs at school, but he focused on what he cared about outside of school, and like that's what he cared about. And if you had asked him what he would have done in his free time anyways, that's what he'd been doing. And then I know people that spend their entire life working to get good grades, being in all the clubs, and at the end, that's not what they wanted to do, and it shows up in your application whether you like it or not. You can't fake it. So just do what you actually want to do, and obviously don't waste your time, but make it meaningful for you. So I don't think that people should be like seeking to fit themselves into something, and there's not like a way in, and there's not something you can do that's necessarily like a way out either. There's nothing that will like make or break your application. It's 4 years of stuff. So it's like 4 years of just doing things that you enjoy, doing things that are meaningful. So don't feel like you have to do certain things and live up to certain standards or be like someone else. So I think that's my advice.
Cool. What are you most excited about the future?
For Stanford at least, it's just meeting new people. Like I want to meet people who are like interested in different things, who are passionate about, you know, whatever they're doing. Everyone at Stanford has their own story, so like I think that's what I'm excited about. And for the future, just like finding out something that I love to do, because like for now, like I like to do a lot of different things, but I feel like that'll kind of coalesce at Stanford, because maybe after like working on like a certain research project for like to 5 in the morning, you'll find out that maybe that's not what you want to do with the rest of your life. So I think that's what I'm excited about most, just kind of just figure out who I am.
Cool. That's all the questions.